So good evening and welcome to the Q&A for the IB Diploma program. This is a follow-up session from the opening house evening we had before Christmas, and this is an opportunity for you to ask questions and find whatever information you would like to have about the IB Diploma program. I'm Gunilla, the IB DP Principal, and together with me today I have the IB Coordinator,
Katarina Flenmark, and it's lovely to meet all of you as well.
We also have the IB Career Advisor, Kaisa. She's on Google Meet, and you can see the link in the chat. So please feel welcome to go to her Google Meet and ask questions to the Career Advisor. So while we wait for questions, let's watch a clip with some lovely IB students.
The IB is an international program where you study everything in English, and it's a 2-year program with, in Sweden, 1 year of preparation because there's 3 years in the Swedish gymnasium.
Choosing our own subjects to fit what we as individuals want to study in the future. I've grown up studying both in Swedish and in English, so it wasn't hard for me to adapt.
The Swedish students that come in, they adapt very quickly.
It's a refreshing way of learning things.
It prepares you for university, and you get to choose your own subjects.
That we are so well known that it's much easier for us to apply abroad. But it's also the techniques, studying techniques and skills that we learn on our way. In the beginning in pre-DP, there was mostly Swedish students, but now as I've entered DP1, a lot of international students have joined us.
There's a lot of different students, both from other countries and from Sweden, so it's kind of 50-50.
You have to pick one subject from the natural sciences, one from the social sciences, which is the human sciences, a math subject and 2 languages, and then you can pick one from those, an extra one from those. Social, focused, orientated subjects and nature wise, and we also have a bit of creative subjects that we can choose, like visual arts.
Yeah, so you form your own program.
All right. Well, what do you say, Katarina? What is the difference between the IB program and a national program?
Well, I'd say that the most important difference is that as an IB student, you get teachers that are not just your teachers, but your coaches. And that has to do with the whole sort of plan of the IB program. As a student, you are not only assessed by your teachers, but primarily by external examiners. And I think that sort of gives a situation in the classroom, and whenever you are meeting with your teachers, that your teachers, they are more than just teachers. They are your coaches, and together you work towards a common goal that is for you to get grades that you can take you out into the rest of the world and to a future education that you really want to go on to. I say that is one of the things. Is there anything else that we should mention in terms of the IB compared to the Swedish national programs?
Yes, I think the fact that there is an external examination the last year of the education is very different from the Swedish national programs. So you are being externally marked, and that's why your teacher really works as your tutor. It is you and your teacher towards the exams. We also practice. It's very different from, let's say you come from a Swedish school. We train the students doing what we call mini mock and mock exams during their years here, so that they feel very, very well prepared when it's time for the final May exams, the last year.
And I noticed that you mentioned the final exams, the 3 weeks in their DP2. And it's also, of course, important that part of what is being part of the grading in the end is also done as coursework during the DP1 and DP2. There is something called internal assessment, which means that a student does coursework in all his or her subjects, and that coursework it's graded by the teacher, but it's moderated upon by IB moderators. So that also vouches for the fact that you get a very fair and balanced assessment in the end. It's not just your teacher, but it's also another teacher, an examiner that's been looking at it as well. And that's a huge difference, I would say, if you compare it to a Swedish national program.
Absolutely. So maybe we should show the course outline and show you a little bit what the program, what it looks like. And as you can see, if we start with the left-hand column, here in Sweden we have a 3-year upper secondary school. So the IB Diploma program is a 2-year education, but what we have is a pre-year, we call it pre-DP. And if you take a look at the left-hand column, you can see at the top that there are a number of courses that you can find at any national programs, taught in English, of course, such as, modern language, history, civics. But we also have a number of what we call preparatory courses, and those are the coming DP courses that we sort of, we adapt. We start to prepare the students in pre-DP, having those preparatory courses. And those are in sciences, biology, chemistry, physics. And we also have a specific math prep course for the DP coming courses. We also, in pre-DP, we also offer them orientation courses, and those are just a few hours that you can practice and see what the new subjects will be in DP. And examples of that is business management, economics, psychology, visual arts, for example. So that was the pre-DP, the pre-year. And then they moved to DP, the second year.
They most certainly do. And already actually in PDP, as a student, you will have to make your subject choices for the DP1. And if we look at the course outline here to your right, you'll find that the DP subjects, DP of course being short for diploma, the subjects are divided into 6 different groups. And as a DP student, you will need to study 6 subjects. And that may not seem like an awful lot, but I grant you that you will be more than busy. You will study 3 of these 6 subjects at something we call higher level, meaning that you get 240 hours during the 2-year cycle in your higher level subjects. Then the remaining 3 will be studied as standard level subjects, and here you get 150 hours over the 2-year cycle. And as a DP student then, you will need to pick subjects from different groups. So all DP students will need to study at least 2 languages. You can study either one mother tongue, one first language, and then a second language as a language acquisition, meaning that it's the second or it's the third or it's even a fourth language that you know. Or you can decide that you have 2 first languages and you want to study both of them. And as you can see here in Group 1, where it says Swedish A, English A, those subjects, they stand for first languages. And in Group 2, you have English B, French B, etc., etc. And that would be language acquisition, meaning a second or a third, or as I was saying earlier, a fourth subject on your behalf. You can also decide that you want to start a completely new language. For instance, we offer you to study Mandarin, Spanish, ab initio, which is beginner's language. But these are online courses only, so you're not being taught by a teacher at school, but you have an online teacher. So all students need to study at least 2 languages. Then all students study a Group 3 and yet a Group 4 and yet a Group 5 subject. So you pick the subject that you wish to study the most from Group 3. And here you can see that we offer history, economics, business management, and psychology. And then it says environmental systems and societies. And if you're very observant, you'll find that environmental systems and societies is also to be found as a Group 4 subject. It means that it is a subject that you can either study as a social science subject or as a natural science subject. You have a choice here. Because Group 4, that is the natural sciences subjects. And as apart from environmental systems and societies, you'll find that we offer what you would probably expect, that is biology, chemistry and physics. Then all students need to study a math course, and that is the Group 5 for you. And then finally, we have what we call, or what the IB calls, the Group 6, the electives. And here we offer visual arts. And if you don't want to study visual arts, you pick the subject that you want to study the most from either Group 2, 3 or 4. So that means that if you're more natural sciences inclined, then you can study 2 natural sciences. Well, you can actually study all 3 if you want to, but then we need special permission from the IB to do so. But it is perfectly okay to study all 3 sciences within the IB diploma as well. And I think that's important to note. And then finally, last but not least, we have what we call the core, which some of us refer to as the heart of the IB program, where you find the 3 elements, the 3 components that make IB unique. You have the CAS, which is short for creativity, activity and service, meaning that students need to do over the 2-year period, the 2-year cycle, different experiences within either activity, creativity and or service. Not graded, but a compulsory component of the IB program. Then you have the extended essay, which is exactly what it seems to be and sounds like. It is an extended essay that a student finishes, starts in DP1 and completes in DP2. And this is where you have the opportunity of really exploring something that you want to find out more about. You have an interest of yours in one of your subjects and you can find out more about it. And it's also a perfect opportunity for you to try out writing in an academic way already at upper secondary school. And finally, we have a TOK course, Theory of Knowledge, where you get to discuss what does it mean to know something. Can I actually ever know that I know something, etc., etc. So these are all the subjects that you can study and also the core components of the IB diploma.
Thank you, Katarina. We got a question about entry to Swedish University, and yes, you will get a full entry to Swedish universities if you take Swedish A at the IB diploma program. There is also a possibility if you are taking Swedish B as your second language, that is, but then you have to take a language test at the university called a thesis test. All right. Well, maybe we need a short break again, and let us watch a clip from, a tour of the school. There are a few words in Swedish, but I think you will be able to get by and see where you are. So have a go at and watch what it looks like inside.
So we can't sort of show you the premises physically, but at least you got some impression of what it looks like at Katedralskolan. You got to see our very nice science laboratories, for instance, and also some of the outdoor environment. So I think you have been able to make sort of, or gain an understanding of what it looks like anyway. We were going to talk about how you apply to the PDP.
Yes. But before,
there is a question.
Yeah, before that I noticed that we have got a question. How do you handle distance learning? Yes. Right now we're in a pandemic, so there is online teaching, remote teaching at this school as well as at many other schools, and we've been in different phases. So now we've had a full distance teaching for some weeks, and beginning next week we are having partly remote teaching, where we combine, we use all the digital tools. So we have lessons online with using Google Meet, and combining it with all sorts of digital help that the teachers can use. So, but we really hope that in the near future things will improve, and of course the students will everything will go back to normal hopefully soon. Yes. There is also a question, how do you, if you have to take any admission exams, and that is exactly what you were going to inform about, Katarina.
Yeah, because I think that some of you are interested in the sort of whole application process. So as you probably know, deadline for application is February 15. And after that, we get lists sent to us from the local authorities here in Lund. If you have applied to study the PDP at our school, you will then be invited to sit a placement test here at our school. As Gunilla was referring to, the ongoing pandemic makes it a bit difficult to say for sure that we will be able to carry through these placement tests, but the plan is to carry them through in March, and then you will be invited to sit a test in mathematics. And when you get the letter that invites you, you will also receive more information as to what kind of a test it is. The test is in English, and we are not asking for any impossible goals for you. We want you to pass it, and we want to see that you have sufficient knowledge to be able to start and complete the PDP and the ensuing DP in a good way. But we are definitely not asking you to be fully taught students already before you come to us. And when you have sat the placement test, our teachers will correct it, and then we send the results to the local authorities, and then you will be receiving information from them whether you have been accepted or not. But it's not just for you to sit the test. Of course, what will in the end decide whether you have been accepted or not will of course be grades. But you need to pass the test in order to be up for application, so to speak.
Yes, and I would like to add to it that if you attend the MYP5 at an international school, you can go directly from MYP5 to DP1, the second year, or you can apply to pre-DP if you feel that you need this preparatory year. We got a question about how many international students. It is sort of, you can say it's a 50-50 situation right now. We have two classes of pre-DP students. We have 64 places. And in DP1 at the moment we have about 100 students, and in DP2 there are about 85 students.
Yeah, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
And it's a really a lovely melting pot. People are coming from all over the world, but we also have students arriving from Swedish primary school. So it's a nice mixture of people. I could add to some comments about how you feel as a Swedish student, because sometimes students are worried. What about the English language? Speaking English at all times. What is it like when you come from, when you're used to speaking Swedish? But, I would like to say that you get used to it pretty quickly, and in a couple of weeks you won't notice the difference. And, but of course it can take a few weeks to adapt to.
Yeah, I think it takes a few weeks, but I mean, soon enough you'll even start dreaming in English. So I think it's a fairly quick process. And I mean, since there are students in all our classes that don't really speak Swedish, it's also a matter of sort of respect and integrity that we speak English at all times. And that is all the best way you can ever adapt and getting used to it. And of course all lessons apart from Swedish are in English, so it's a very smooth process. Yeah. Do we have a new question?
Yes, there was a question about whether we have any sport facilities. Maybe it didn't show on the short clips from the premises. Mm-hmm. If you talk about the IB Diploma program, we have PE or what we call in Swedish Idrott och hälsa. It's a course in pre-DP that all students are taking, but we do not have PE as a DP subject. So it's something you do in pre-DP. But we have a nice PE hall, and we go to we have swimming facilities that we use out in Lund together with other students, and
Well, can I just add that, I mean, we don't have a DP subject stating that it's PE as such, but we do have, you remember me telling you about CAS, and the activity part, of course, there is something that all DP students will need to participate in. And we have students then doing CAS in the PE hall. They have a basketball group, they have a volleyball group, and we also soon get our table tennis, right? Yeah.
Outside.
So outside. so there are different facilities for all of you, I would say. And I've even seen our DP students playing football in the yard. So you can always find sort of nice activities to do. And then of course we have Stadsparken very nearby, where we can also go and have activities as such. So yeah.
Well, a question about computers. Do we need to buy our own computers, or is it provided by the school? And what brand is it? All students are getting their laptop. I'm not very... It's a Dell. That is what information I can give to you. So you can borrow a laptop during your time here, and there will also be a possibility to buy it at a small amount when you graduate.
And you also, of course, get to borrow a calculator, since we are talking about tools that you need in order to study at the DP program. And all books, of course, but that goes hopefully without saying.
All right, next question. Is there a disadvantage when applying to university compared to students from a normal national program? Well, if I start with talking about the IB program in general, and stating that it is a very academic program, it is really designed for university, and the students are very well prepared for university when they have been to the IB program. Internationally, it is very well recognized. So the universities around the world, they know that when they get an IB student, they get a very well prepared and capable and skilled IB student. There is a conversion table if you want to apply to a Swedish university. There is a conversion table because we have our own grading system. You can please visit the site, Högskoleverket, that site, and you can go in and see the conversion table, the updated one, and see exactly how you use the IB grading system and convert it to the Swedish system. Is there an exchange program?
No, I'm sorry. No, there is no exchange program. I would say that primarily having completed a PDP, the DP program is just, I was going to say, but it only covers 2 years, which means that once you've started, most students, they just want to finish and complete it. So there is no need as such for an exchange program. But what we see, of course, is that many of the students, they decide to later on continue their studies abroad. During the ongoing pandemic, this could be a bit of a problem, but what I see for you in the future is that we will have more and more students applying abroad. And I'm not just talking about the UK, the US, but I'm also talking about more and more students applying for Holland, Denmark, for instance. And there are many different universities out there, and that is, for instance, where we have our career advisor helping us out and helping you out, finding the best solution for you in terms of what you want to study in the future.
Yes. Well, another question, will applicants from Lund and Lomma have priority, or has this been changed this year? No, we get students from all over the world. Yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter where you live. You can apply to the IB, and no one actually is prioritized in any way. What Gymnasieantagningen does in Lund is that they look at whether you have passed the placement test or not, and then they look at your grades. And then that's it. So the students with the best grades, they get in first priority, and then sort of depending on your grades. So I'm not really sure what that student is referring to, but it doesn't really matter where you live. You can apply, and we take your placement test and your grades into consideration only.
Well, no more questions at the moment, so maybe we should show the, there is also a clip with IB students, and this time it is in Swedish. So, but you get to meet some more IB students. So, well, let's have a go at that clip.
IB är en internationell linje där man får välja sina ämnen. Och det som skiljer mest ifrån svenska program är då att man får välja vilka kurser man vill läsa, och det är på engelska.
Att plugga på engelska skulle jag säga är ungefär likadant som att plugga på svenska, i och med att vi lär oss nya koncept som vi ändå inte hade kunnat veta om vi gick på ett svenskt program.
Jag tycker det är rätt roligt. Jag känner att man märker själv att ens engelska utvecklas under åren. Så det är väldigt kul att se.
Det bästa med IB är att vi kan skräddarsy vårt eget program och välja de ämnen som vi själva tycker att vi är intresserade av.
Man blir väldigt förberedd inför universitetet, samt att IB är väldigt respekterad utomlands.
Man skulle kunna säga att det är ungefär hälften svenska elever och hälften utländska.
Det är blandat svenska elever och elever från andra länder och runt om i Sverige också. Det är kul att få lära sig lite från andra kulturer och så vidare.
Vi har många olika inriktningar eftersom vi skräddarsyr vårt eget program. Jag personligen valde en kombination av natur- och ekonomiprogrammet, vilket gör att jag har båda de vägarna öppna sen till universitetet.
Eftersom att man får välja ämnen själv så kan man göra vilken inriktning man vill egentligen. Personligen så funderade jag mellan IB och natur, men jag är inget större fan av fysik, så därmed valde jag att bara ta biologi, kemi och istället psykologi.
So we have a new question. Do you want to read it?
Yes,
Yeah.
if you change your language from middle school, will you still get extra meritpoäng for university? How do you get extra meritpoäng? Yes, you can get full points of merits, as we call it in English, at the IB Diploma program. From your English course and from your modern language, and also from your math, depending on what program you apply to university. So please visit our career advisors meet if you would like to get into details. but it's you can get full points of merit, 2.5 points. Mm. Well, so Katarina, why should you choose the IB program here? You know, there are about 20 IB schools in all of Sweden, and there are 1.5 million students, IB students, as we speak, in 46 countries. Why IB here?
Well, I would say that we have had many years, more than almost 20 years of experience. We started out at the beginning of this century, and we feel now that we have, apart from having masses of years of experience, we also have a very experienced staff. We have teachers who have been teaching actually their diploma subjects since DP was introduced at our school, and apart from them being very committed and ambitious teachers, it also shows that the IB diploma is something special, and that is why they want to continue teaching within the IB diploma.
Yes, many of our IB teachers are examiners for they are not allowed, of course, to examine their own students, but they are examiners for IB internationally, so they know exactly what is expected of you as a student. So
we should perhaps mention that because you talked about the grading system earlier, and in the DP program, in each subject you're graded and can get at the most 7 points per subject. So in the end, as a student, you can get 45 points, and it doesn't really add up, you're saying now, because if you study 6 subjects and you get 7 points per subject, that would only give you 42. Yes, but then there is something called credits, and if you remember, I talked about the extended essay and I mentioned the TOK course, and those are what we call credits. So you can get 3 credit points, which in the end means that if you get 4 diploma points, you get 45 points. And we have a very good grade average here at Katedralskolan as well. Not 45 points though, but
it is well above the what we call the world average. Yeah. So we got some questions. How much homework is there every day, and what about the schedule? How long is the average school day? Well, I have to be honest with you and sort of stating that it is a very academic program. So it requires a lot of work, but it will, like I said earlier on, it will prepare you very, very well for university. It will not be a piece of cake, but you will be very well prepared. You have to do homework, of course. We say that the students, it's a full-time job. I mean, if you were working, you would work 8 hours a day. So that is maybe adding the homework that you have to spend on your homework. Of course, it depends, together with your lessons, of course. It depends on what grades you're aiming at and how ambitious you are. But, well, it is difficult to tell exactly how many hours. The schedule is, it depends on what 6 subjects you have chosen. I mean, one day you can start at 8 o'clock, another day at 10 o'clock. And you might finish one day at 3, but another day at 4:30. So it depends on what sort of selection of subjects you have.
I would just want to add as well that sometimes you do get what we refer to as gap hours, but then we encourage you to use our really nice facilities here at school. We have really nice and very good student areas where you can either work on your own or you can work together as a group. So, and we also of course have a tremendous library where you can go and sit and work. So not to just loiter away your gap hours, but also to do something fruitful once you're at school, because that means that you have less homework to do once you get back home.
Yes, use your gap hours if you have any.
Mm.
There's a question here. How long are you allowed to be in the school? Well, it's about, you can come sometimes after 7 o'clock and be here until 4:30 or 5 o'clock, usually. And like Katarina said, we have a lot of school groups, and the students, they love to be in school, not during the pandemic, but when we have a normal situation. So a lot of the students, they are here working maybe in a school group with playing chess or working with a school paper, or being in the choir or in the debate group. There are so many CAS activities that, you can spend time on. Well, there is only a few minutes left now, so we would like to just to say thank you very much for your time here. You will find all contact details on the web page, and please feel free to give us a ring or email at any time. So maybe we should finish off with showing the first clip again with the international, with the IB students.
Yeah, it's been really nice meeting with many of you, and as Gunilla was saying, don't hesitate to contact whatever questions you may be having.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Take care and stay safe. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The IB is an international program where you study everything in English, and it's a 2-year program with, in Sweden, 1 year of preparation, because there's 3 years in the Swedish gymnasium.
Choosing our own subjects to fit what we as individuals want to study in the future. I've grown up studying both in Swedish and in English, so it wasn't hard for me to adapt.
The Swedish students that come in, they adapt very quickly.
It's a refreshing way of learning things.
It prepares you for university, and you get to choose your own subjects.
That we are so well known that it's much easier for us to apply abroad. But it's also the techniques, studying techniques and skills that we learn on our way. In the beginning in pre-DP, there was mostly Swedish students, but now as I've entered DP1, a lot of international students have joined us.
There's a lot of different students, both from other countries and from Sweden, so it's kind of 50-50.
You have to pick one subject from the natural sciences, one from the social sciences, which is the human sciences, a math subject, and 2 languages, and then you can pick one from those, an extra one from those. Social, focused, orientated subjects, and nature-wise. And we also have a bit of creative subjects that we can choose, like visual arts.
Yeah, so you form your own program.